Hello and welcome back for another video for your World Regional Geography online course. This video introduces Chapter 7, which is Sub-Saharan Africa, as well as introduces Chapter 8, which is about North Africa and Southwest Asia. So again, this video is really designed to just kind of introduce the content that will be covered within the chapter reading, and as well as providing supplemental understanding. So let's begin with Chapter 7. Okay, so Sub-Saharan Africa has many rapidly expanding core cities and a large rural peripheral region that are now experiencing high rural to urban shift. Most countries are former European colonies that are growing their own economies as developing countries. The hundreds of tribal groups that live there with their own languages and cultures often clash with each other or their government. The informal sector is strong in this realm as people seek opportunities amid civil unrest and conflict. The weak formal sector in many countries does not always receive enough revenue from taxes or fees to operate the public sector and provide services to the people. Now, West Africa has many countries with hundreds of separate ethnic groups with their own languages. High diversity makes it difficult for social unity and political cohesiveness. In spite of its diversity and issues, Sub-Saharan Africa retains a sense of vibrancy in the celebration of family and community. Central Africa covers a large region of tropical Africa, including the vast Congo River Basin. Poor economic conditions have been partly a result of many civil wars and conflicts in the region, where the controlling party or military power has received most of the wealth, leaving the majority in need of infrastructure improvements and public services. The civil war in Rwanda, which was based on ethnicity alone, led to as many as 1 million deaths. The civil war in the Democratic Republic of the Congo over the control of land and resources resulted in even 5 million deaths, the most since any war, since World War II. Now, large deposits of gold and diamonds and other rare minerals such as coltan are located in the Democratic Republic of Congo and surrounding areas. The wealth that they can generate has fueled many armed conflicts by various groups. So those are some things to kind of take into consideration within that region. Now, women have also suffered serious setbacks in their rights and status in the Central Africa region because of these conflicts. Now, the East Africa is dominated by the Great Rift Valley, and with its large lakes, high mountains, and vast savanna plains, the Serengeti and other game preserves are home to immense numbers of big game that are attractive for tourism. But then again, most of the people that live in these regions are highly involved in agriculture. Now, Southern Africa, located on the Tropic of Capricorn, has moderate climates, extensive mineral deposits, and the countries have a positive means to gain wealth from agriculture and these minerals. There is high diversity of tribal groups that have been impacted by colonial activity. South Africa had an apartheid system, and for years, that eventually broke down within the last few decades. Now, lastly, Madagascar is a large island off the east coast and has different flora and fauna from the mainland, mostly because of its isolation due to its tectonic activity. The island of Madagascar was once connected to the African continent, but drifted away with the activity of tectonic plates in that area. So again, really big pieces, a lot of diversity, and a lot of turmoil in these regions. Moving forward into Chapter 8, which introduces the northern part of Africa and Southwest Asia, we'll see that that also continues, and we find that really the driving force, aside from just the differences culturally, it really has to do with natural resources. That really causes a lot of struggle, and it also can cause a lot of turmoil when involved with how the politics work in those regions. Now, North Africa, Southwest Asia, and Central Asia, otherwise known as Turkestan, are included in the realm of North Africa and Southwest Asia, which is dominated by the religion of Islam. This region is also arid. It's actually a B climate, B as in boy, and the export of oil and natural gas. Now, large expansive deserts make up most of the physical area of all three of these regions of the realm. Water is of particular importance as most of the population has traditionally made their living from agriculture. So we find that division, warfare, and conflict are a constant element in these regions. Now, the three main monotheistic religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, all emerged from the Middle East and can be traced back to a common patriarch, Abraham. Most of the people in this realm are now Muslim. The 5 pillars of Islam create a guide for the Muslims to live by. Mecca, the holiest city for Muslims worldwide, is where the Prophet Muhammad started the religion itself. The 2 main divisions of Islam are going to be Sunni and then Shia. Sunni is about 84%, and Shia is about 15%, and then the remaining are part of other divisions of smaller religious groups. Now, North Africa includes the countries that border the Mediterranean Sea and Sudan and the Red Sea as well. Most of these people in North Africa, again, are Muslim. The high population areas are along the coast or along the Nile River. The Atlas Mountains trap the Atlas Mountains trap moisture, which then provides precipitation for agriculture within the mountain valleys themselves. The countries of North Africa have all witnessed political uprising in which the people have demanded democratic reform and increased civil rights. Egypt is the most populous Arab country and the cornerstone of the Arab world. Moving forward, Palestine was divided in half in 1945 into the Arab state and a Jewish state. The Jewish state became the nation of Israel in 1948. Since that time, there has been constant struggle between the mainly Arab Palestinians and the Jewish state of Israel. The West Bank and the Gaza Strip are Palestinian regions that have worked to be recognized with equal sovereignty. The solution to this division is debated. Both sides have claims that they are incompatible with each other. The neighboring Arab states of Jordan, Syria, and Lebanon have their own unique political situations as well. Moving forward within this, we see that Iraq was the center of the Fertile Crescent of Mesopotamia, which spawned early human civilizations. The country is divided between Shia majority and Sunni minority. It is also an Arab country with a large minority group of Kurds to the north. Iraq has enormous oil reserves that have not yet been developed for exploitation, which has attracted the attention of the world's energy-dependent core regions. We will discuss further within the book, as you'll see, about these both natural and unnatural resources for power. There has been discussion not only that about 25% of the world's oil is found within these regions, but they're also, if you think about it, because of where the tropics lie, and the fact that it's very dry in most of these areas, that it's actually one of the best places for solar energy as well. So it's really kind of the hub for that type of energy piece. Last bit of this that we'll mention is that Afghanistan has been conquered by many empires and was a buffer state between British and Russian colonial efforts. The country has a dry, rugged terrain and a devastated economy. The people are very poor with very little infrastructure. The many tribal groups that made it difficult for a centralized government to be effective. The United States invaded Afghanistan in 2001 to remove Al-Qaeda training camps run by Osama bin Laden. North Atlantic Treaty Organization, or NATO forces, have taken over the mission in Afghanistan to defeat the Taliban extremists and support stability for the country. Afghanistan has enormous amounts of mineral resources that are in high demand by the world's core industrial regions. So again, as mentioned earlier, these natural resources are a huge piece to this kind of push-pull factor for a lot of these countries. We find that this is everywhere. We find that this is seen in South America, Latin America, with agriculture, and how we have these push-pull factors of the haves versus have-nots, that these are very poor communities, but they have lots of resources, but those resources can be bought out and sold, but then people get involved. Could be political leaders, could be other types of organizations that become middlemen that take the upper hand, and so it really is a very strong battle. Something else that gets mentioned in the book that I think is also important, and you might then identify in some of the videos that I've shared going forward within this module, is just gender. The gender roles and the rights of people that are or are not existent. So I do suggest that you kind of take note of a lot of these different areas and how gender plays a role and how it's either respected or not respected, and really how can we push for progress and really equity to be equal but also be equitable, which are two different things but both very important. So I hope you enjoy this portion of the text, and we'll talk soon.